Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about adding integers. So make sure you fill in the date. The title is Adding Integers, and here we go. So integers we talked about are positive or negative numbers. And there's really three different things that could happen. Either you could have a positive plus another positive. We'd have to figure out what that equals. You could have a negative plus another negative. We'd have to figure out what that equals. Or you could have one of each. Okay, so those are the three different things that could happen. And we're going to kind of explore what answer you get for each one of these. Okay, so let's do the positives first. And I think you guys already know the answer. You've been adding positive numbers together forever. Have you ever gotten a negative number? No. So it's going to be positive, but let's look at why. So if I gave you positive 2 plus positive 3, why is it positive 5? Think of ways that you could explain it to someone who's learning how to add. Maybe some of you are thinking of a number line, right? Here's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, write this down. So if you start at 2, you go positive 3, you get to your answer. So that's one way to think about it. Another way is probably thinking about counting, right? So if you have 2 positive things and 3 positive things, add them together, what do you get? Hello? 5 positive things. So that's another way you could explain it. So no matter what though, we know a positive plus a positive is a positive. Let's fill that in up top. So that's our first rule. You already knew it. Pretty easy. Okay. All right, let's see if we can figure out the second one. So a negative plus a negative. Okay, let's do an example. So if I said negative 2 plus negative 3, and let's use the same logic that we did before. So let's look at a number line. We'll just look at the negative side. So here's 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So if we use the same logic, if we start at the first number, start at negative 2, and now go negative 3, so in the negative direction 3 spots. Well, if the positive direction is to the right, the negative direction better be to the left. So go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and we're at negative 5. So it looks like you just add them together and put the negative, and that is correct. That is what you're going to do if both numbers are negative. If we talk about, counting things, if you have 2 negative things plus 3 negative things, yeah, you put them all together and you have 5 negatives, negative 5. Okay, so if you add 2 negatives together, you just add them up and get a negative. So far, this is making sense. If there's a plus sign, you add things up. If there's a plus sign, you add things up. If both numbers are positive, your answer is positive. If both numbers are negative, your answer is negative. If you can memorize those two, that's a good start. It's number 3 where things get a little more difficult. So a positive plus a negative. All right, let's do an example. A positive, here, let me write 3. A positive plus a negative. Okay, so let's say we have positive 2 and negative 3. All right, let's go with the number line example. I'm going to put 0 in the middle and go 3 in each direction. Okay, so let's use the same logic. Let's start on the first one, so start on 2, and then move 3 in the negative direction. So that would mean 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. So the answer is -1. So we need to come up with a rule for that. Let's do it with these tokens down here. If you had 2 positives together with 3 negatives, what happens? Well, when you get 1 positive and 1 negative together, it makes 0. So if you put these things together, kind of like a magnet, they would attract, right? So these 2 become 0. These 2 become 0. What are you left with? 1 negative. And what was our answer? 1 negative. That is how it works. So what ends up happening is, because things are canceling out, if you have 1 positive number and 1 negative number, you actually end up subtracting. And this is the weirdest part of 7th grade. I'm putting a plus sign here, and I'm telling you, you're going to have to subtract. Oof. Now let's flip it. Let's say the 2 was negative and the 3 was positive. So if it was -2 and +3, let's see what happens there. Let's do it on the number line. 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3. So if we use the number line logic, we would start at -2, and we would go 3 to the right. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, this time it's +1. Can you tell why it's positive? Right? Because think about the token situation. I call them tokens. I don't know. Which one do you have more of? You have more positives. So when you start canceling, you're going to be left with the thing that was more. So a +1, +1. So there's a bunch of things here that we have to kind of figure out. So first of all, if you have a positive and a negative, you could get a positive or a negative. It depends on which number is greater. If the greater number is a negative, you're going to get a negative. If the greater number is positive, you're going to get a positive. And then the weirdest part of all is you're not even adding, you're subtracting. Okay, we'll pause for questions now, and then we're going to keep going. Okay, so let's try an example. Let's say -8 plus -2. Now what I always ask myself is, are the signs the same or are they different? That means the signs of the numbers. Because look back up at our rules. Actually, let me put this here. Look at our rules. If both numbers are the same, so they're both positive, you get a positive. They're both negative, you get a negative. So it matches. It's only when they're different that we have to do this different thing of subtracting. Okay, so let me go back here. Are these signs the same? Yes, they are both negative, so they're the same. So we do the same old thing and we add. 8 and 2 is 10. Since they were both negative, the answer is -10. Okay, let's try another one like that. -4 plus, the book sometimes does this. It puts the negative number in parentheses. That's just so you can see the negative number. Don't worry about that. All right, so -4 and -3. Are the signs the same? Yes. So we do the same old thing. We add them up. 4 and 3 is 7. They're both negative, so we get a -7. All right. Let's see. Can I trick you here? 6 plus -4. Are the signs the same? No, they're different, so we're actually going to do something different. We're going to subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Now, is this going to be a +2 or a -2? Well, which number is greater? The 6 is greater, it's positive, so my answer is positive. Okay. Let's try negative 10 plus 1. Negative 10 plus 1. Are the signs the same? No. They're different, so we're going to subtract. 10 minus 1 is 9. Is it positive 9 or negative 9? Well, the greater number is 10 and it's negative, so it's going to be negative 9. Okay? Now what if I gave you 3 numbers in a row? Negative 2 plus negative 5 plus, I don't know, 12. Okay, some of your homework looks like this. Work from left to right. So do the first 2 numbers together first. Ask yourself the same thing. Are the signs the same? Yes, they are. They're both negative. So add them up and keep the sign. Now bring down what's left here. Okay, and ask yourself again, are the signs the same or are they different? This time we have a negative and a positive. They're different. So we're going to do something different. We're going to subtract. We're going to get a 5. Is that going to be a positive 5 or a negative 5? Well, the greater number is positive, so positive 5. All right? Let me know if you have questions, and we can do more practice live. All right, good job, guys.